Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Alicia Chapman. So Willamette Technical Fabricators is a custom complex metal manufacturing company. So we build steel infrastructure for bridges, locks and dams, mainly for transportation and clean energy projects.
Okay, good. And tell me how you got into this industry.
Yeah, it's a little circuitous story. I didn't start out engineering. Both my parents were military. So I grew up all over the country, and I ended up working for the U.S. Agency for International Development overseas, doing projects to help young people build their skills and get good careers so they could have a better life. And I moved to Portland about 13 years ago because I wanted to study sustainability and figure out how I could do that work even better. And I got introduced to someone from Boeing, the airplane company, and they had started up a project doing kind of similar work, but for their manufacturing plant in England. And the young people that came to be apprentices at that facility had really great opportunities to learn and develop good jobs and make a good career for themselves and their families. And Boeing wanted to make something very similar here in Oregon, and they recruited me to help them start up the new research center that was in Scappoose, so just up the road from where we are right now, and to work with some other big manufacturing partners like a shipbuilder and a truck company to pool all of their resources and solve some really complex problems related to metals manufacturing. So I was working with a group of researchers from the 3 main Oregon universities and then these industry partners. And then a lot of that research got shut down during the pandemic, and I took a lot of the friends that I had made from the research projects, and we decided to spin off and start our own company. And we knew that there was going to be a demand for a lot of infrastructure work because a lot of the bridges around the Portland area and all over the Northwest are being rebuilt because they're just getting really old. And then the hydropower dams that produce energy but are also really needed to help us navigate the river, they need a lot of work. And we knew that there was a demand for clean energy, so helping the country transition off of fossil fuels, thinking about ways to do that sustainably. So wind turbines are a big part of what we're thinking about to be able to transition fully off of fossil fuels, and those need to be built. So thinking about ways that we can contribute to this need and also provide really good jobs for the people that a lot of times are impacted even more than everyone else by climate change, but don't necessarily get an opportunity to be part of the solution. So we wanted to create a training program where we could bring people that don't necessarily have any background in manufacturing, pair them with really experienced tradespeople, welders, machinists, inspectors, and engineers, and give them the skills that they need to actually be a part of this really important and rapidly growing industry, and be part of the solutions that help their own communities.
Wow, that's fantastic. And I know that in manufacturing, it's rare not only to see women in manufacturing, but as a CEO and so forth. So how's that been so far?
Yeah, I think across industries, you don't see a lot of women CEOs, but that's changing, that's getting better. And in manufacturing, I think there's this perception or this stigma that it is mostly older men or strong men, and we really wanted to change that, or change the way people think about manufacturing as dull or dirty or dangerous, and really think about how manufacturing is using lots of advanced technology. So we're using robotics, we're using AI, we're using computers, and we have people that are welding that are using advanced equipment, and they don't need to be big, strong men. We actually have a woman in our shop who is very petite. I see, just barely over 4 feet tall, and she's one of our best welders. And she is really good with her hand-eye coordination and problem-solving skills, mathematics. So using her brain instead of using her muscles to make some of this really amazing, massive infrastructure. We wanted to also reach out to families and help them understand that these are really safe jobs. They're really high skill, high demand, good jobs that you would want your kids to pursue. And I think, I grew up all over, like I said, all over the country, but I ended up going to high school in Newport News, Virginia, which is a big shipbuilding hub. And at the time that I graduated high school, which was not long after 9/11, you really had 2 options. You could go be an apprentice in the shipyard, or you could go join the military, and if you did, you were gonna go to Iraq or Afghanistan, you're gonna go to war. And unfortunately, a lot of the people that I graduated with were thinking, I'll take my chances in the war. I don't want to go to the shipyard, that's dangerous. And I think that fear is founded in history, industrial history, But it's changing a lot, and especially here in Portland and the Pacific Northwest, it is a different world. So we're really proud of our safety record and the way that we provide, not just good jobs for people that have already gotten a 4-year degree, but jobs for people that don't necessarily want to go to college. They want to work with their hands, they want to be creative and problem solving, or maybe they do want to go to college. Eventually they're interested in engineering or robotics or something that requires an advanced degree. But first they want to get some real life skills, and then we help put them through college so they can actually get real life production experience and then apply that when they're in school and hopefully come back and still work with us later.
Got it. And I'm curious because Portland used to be very manufacturing centric, and that's changed. And I know that you're very active, not only at a state, but a federal level too, in doing that. What do you think needs to happen to bring back manufacturing and have kids exposed to that?
Yeah, I think it's important for families to think about manufacturing differently, but before kids are necessarily going to consider this as an option. And we really want to expose people as much as possible to what we're doing in our shop so that they can see, wow, there's really cool and high-tech stuff going on, advanced manufacturing, factory of the future, that kind of thing that you don't necessarily associate when you think about manufacturing. But also I think it's really important for kids to work with their hands and as much as they can, ideally in a shop class or some sort of hands-on environment, realize that this could be their passion. And maybe they like working with computers, but you can work in computers and work in a manufacturing environment. Or maybe they love building things, but they just don't get enough chance to get off their screens and actually realize that this is something they would really love doing. It would be very rewarding for them. So as much as possible, we want to expose young people and their parents and their families to what we're doing and help present this as an option. Maybe it's not for you, but maybe you just didn't even realize that it was out there, and it'll really light a spark for you.
Got it. And speaking of lighting a spark, because I know we've talked in the past, and you talked about how you've done tours with older kids and so forth, and you seem to really light up when I talked about bringing younger kids also. So tell me why you feel it's important to plant those seeds with those younger kids.
I think it's incredibly important for us to plant the seeds as early as possible. And you look in Europe, you look in other places around the world, they have apprenticeship models that start in middle school. They have the opportunity to expose children before they even start thinking about what kind of careers they want to consider when they grow up. And more, these careers require a lot of really specialized training, whether it's as an apprentice or going through middle school, high school, thinking about the type of math and science and other skills you want to be leaning towards. If you're not even aware that these are options for you, you might not consider those prerequisites that are really going to make it easier for you to transition into a career in the trades and technology and in any kind of high-tech field. So I think the younger the better. It's never too early to get kids excited about potential opportunities for the future, and also to give them a little bit more of a variety of options instead of just thinking really narrowly that everyone's got to go to a 4-year school and be a computer programmer. I think we've got enough of those.
Got it. And let me ask you, from an employee engagement standpoint, is that something that you feel is important also to see your employees? Because I know you guys have great benefits and most manufacturers don't. So I think it speaks a lot to what you guys do, but you still stepped up to a higher level and wanted to partner with us and so forth. So how important is the employee engagement part about working with the community and reaching out?
Employee engagement is huge for us. So we're actually a certified benefit company. We're committed to a triple bottom line, people, planet, profit. So we really want to take care of our people, make sure that they have all of the benefits and resources they need to be successful, both in and out of work. We also are very conscious, obviously, about the projects that we choose, that they're supporting a more resilient and healthy environment, and that we're thinking about our impact on the environment as we're making the things that we're making. But thinking about the interaction between our people and the environment, our people in their community, that's a huge part of what we do. So we want to give people an opportunity to volunteer, to be actively engaged in their own communities, and let us know how the projects that we're choosing may or may not be able to have a positive impact in their communities. And just seeing our employees' faces light up when they see young people or apprentices who are curious but not really sure. There's a lot of pride in what we do, pride in what we build, but pride in the way that we treat our teammates, and we really try to make people feel a sense of ownership of the work. or help them feel a sense of ownership. So for them to be able to share that with the community, and especially with kids, it's a treat for all of us.
Yeah, and speaking of kids, I mean, if I'm a parent and I'm trying to figure out, does my kid have the right DNA or skills, if you will, to be in manufacturing, I mean, what would you tell some of those parents to look for as far as different skills or passions that could dovetail well into manufacturing?
Well, I mean, manufacturing is so broad. So what we're doing is at one end of the spectrum, everything we build is for the first time. You know, it's very location or situation specific. So it's probably the last time it's ever going to be built. You know, you only need one model of this bridge or one variation of this dam. But for a lot of manufacturing, it's about repeatability and making sure that the qualities or the tiny increments in your process are as efficient as possible. So you're using less material, you're using less energy, saving money. So I think there's a lot of different personalities that, depending on the type of manufacturing you're working in, you can find something for you. But there's also such a variety of skills that are needed in our whole production life cycle. You know, we've got people behind the scenes that are computer programmers and accountants and thinking about where we're sourcing our material and thinking about the actual recipes of the metal, so chemistry. And then we have people that are out in the shop that are actually using their hands, whether they're welding or cutting plate or positioning things before we assemble it. So there's a lot of really hands-on jobs, and then there's sort of like in the middle jobs where we have engineers and inspectors, and I think all of these require a good sense of curiosity and growth mindset, beginner's mindset, because not only are the very skilled people that have been doing this for decades, maybe doing something for the first time because of the nature of the project, but they're also trying to pass on their knowledge to the next generation, our apprentices and our trainees. So we want everyone to be really comfortable with asking questions and being new to this. So I think that curiosity is really critical.
Got it. And I would think that because it's so competitive looking for jobs for kids these days, that a lot of folks are ignoring manufacturing. And you look at how a lot of industries in manufacturing, the workers are aging out and so forth. So it's almost like a superpower. I mean, you can almost have an unfair advantage if you consider going into manufacturing, because so many kids aren't considering that right now.
Absolutely. I mean, the average person in our shop makes 6 figures and they don't have a college degree. And in our shop office, I think the average wage is about $130,000 with a range of experience. But these are good paying jobs, great benefits, a lot of flexibility, lots of reasons to be proud of what you do. But I think also we're seeing a resurgence in American manufacturing. So especially because of the pandemic, and there were a lot of challenges with supply chain and being able to get materials, get finished products here in the US that were being made overseas. More and more businesses and consumers, people that are buying things, they want to know that it's going to be here when they ordered it, and that they can rely on the quality. So being willing to sometimes even pay a little bit more to have something that's made in the US, it ends up paying for itself in the long run. You know what I mean? So because of that resurgence, we're seeing an even greater demand for the type of people that have these skills or that are willing to develop these skills. And I see it with our partners, in our competitors. They're really looking for eager, excited young people, even if they don't have any background in manufacturing or technology, that they're just willing to learn, and these businesses are willing to train them.
Got it. And if somebody wants to learn more about Willamette Technical Fabricators, what's the best way to do a little research with that? Just go to the website online, or?
Yeah, our website has a lot of information on there. So all the basics about what we do. There's some cool videos and pictures of some of our projects. Because we're a certified benefit company, we have to publish a report annually about how we're giving back to the community and monitoring our own impact on the environment. So that report is published on our website. All of our salaries, we're very transparent, so we want to make sure that everyone that we're hiring is getting paid based on the work that they're going to be doing, not on their job history. And we are a second chance employer, so we post all of the information about our jobs and our pay scales and our benefits on there as well. And there's a contact form on there that will come directly to me or somebody on my team if you have questions. And we try to be really responsive. If someone wants to come visit us or check out what we're doing, we're always happy to host.
Great. Well, thanks for hosting our kids. I know they had a great time. You planted some great seeds for them.
was super
And
fun.
I think we've got some future manufacturing engineers and workers already with some seeds planted. So thanks for all that you do.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
I hope so.
Thanks.